reactions when my father made the announcement. Some of the fairies laughed, some cheered, some shouted at me.
Why would they do that?
Well, you have to keep in mind that I'm not human. I'm a fairy that looks human, like my Aunt Alicia. And a fairy marrying a human may seem ridiculous to some of the, well, higher citizens of Etheria.
It's not how everyone else feels about what you choose, but what your heart tells you, lad. That's all that matters.
It took me a while to realize that, but my love for Rosella made me see it that way. My family is probably closer to me than most of these supernatural beings. We think that humans and fairies couldn't survive without each other. That seems like a perfectly good reason to marry Rosella to me. Besides, even before I knew who I really, was, I knew I'd love her.
That's what I've always felt about my Valenice. I loved her the moment I saw her. Keep your hopes up, Edgar, and soon you and Rosella will be together again, as it should be.
Thank you for saying that, Your Majesty. I can only hope that she will be well again soon.
Edgar, you met the same fate as my son, taken from your family when you were an infant and raised by someone who wasn't your mother. How did it feel?
Why don't you ask your son? It's not that I couldn't tell you, but...
Because Alexander, he doesn't talk much about it.
I don't know if I should say this, but it's funny that you mentioned that.
Why?
I don't know.
I won't let him know.
Well, I guess it wouldn't do any harm. A couple of days ago, and Rosella and Cassima were busy with the wedding dress and all that. So I walked to the beach, and Alexander was there, swimming in the sea. He didn't have his shirt on, and I saw these scars on his back.
Scars? Heavens. Did he notice you there?
He did. I didn't know what to say. It was very awkward for both of us. I was about to leave, but he asked me to stay. When I said it was funny you asked me that question, it was because he asked me the same. He then went on to ask me if I had recovered from my own kidnapping.
What was your answer?
Your Majesty, I didn't suffer as much as your son did. Love did love me in her own twisted way. She did protect me. I wasn't treated as a slave, but as her son.
Didn't you ever feel she wasn't your true mother?
It was hard to tell. I guess sometimes I did, but I got used to it. That was something Alexander told me he never did. He somehow knew he had family out there. He could never bear the thought of never seeing them. You.
Maybe that's why he escaped while you stayed.
In my case, it was Rosella who made me see. Who gave me the strength to do something about it. But for Alex, it was another story.
Has Alexander talked to you more about it since that night?
No, I never expected him to say anything the first time either.
What do you think of the Green Isles?
It's different. Different from any land I've ever seen before. Different from Temir. Different from Eldritch. Different from Etheria. But I think I love it.
You're not alone there.
It's just that... What's happened here? Why? Why did this have to happen? Such a beautiful day. Tell me.
I've been trying to answer that question myself, but I'm most certain that things always happen for a reason. What the reason is, we have yet to see.
I don't see any worthy reasons for this to happen.
Sometimes we can't see them, not right away. There are acting forces greater than us, after all. The fates can be mysterious.
Couldn't this just be explained by pure evil?
Perhaps. What seems evil at first often leads to something good, if we are determined enough to change it.
It's hard for me to say that way. But you do have more experiences than I do.
Did you mention any of this to Rosella?
No. I didn't want to weigh Rosella down with these stories. I don't think she's aware of this. She's very proud of him. She says she always knew he was alive, and she'd dream about meeting him, and over the years, she created this image of him in her mind.
I'm happy to know that they get along so well.
Rosella insists that he should talk more, and sometimes she would tell him what's best. But her love for him is pure. She even told me once that one of the reasons she rejected me the first time we met in Temir was because she couldn't bear the feeling that she was going to be separated so soon from her brother, after having just met him.
I know how true that is. After she came back from Tamir, they would spend all their time together, day and night. Rosella was eager to show Alexander every hidden corner of Daventry, even when Alexander would sometimes prefer to stay alone reading, or be in the company of his mother.
Rosella says he's very close to the Queen.
Yes. While Rosella and I are much alike, Alexander really enjoys the company of his mother, and to Valenice this is a treasure, especially after believing him dead for so many years.
Do you think this family... Excuse me for being so bold of calling you my family.
You are one of us, my child.
Do you think we'll ever find happiness?
There's a paradox to that. You couldn't know what happiness is if you don't live through the tougher times like this. They make you stronger, and they make you value those moments of happiness with all your heart.
That is one thing I've learned already. But sometimes it seems as though there are more tough times than good. And we've all had enough of those.
I'd better be off now.
Farewell, Your Highness. Tell me if there is anything at all I can do to help Rosella.
I will.
A very strange storm took over the Isles last night.
I know. We felt it here, too. It was unnatural. Something happened last night, something big, and I don't know what it was.
Let me know if you find the cause.
I shall.
Do you know what's happening to my wife?
No, Your Majesty, I do not.
Do you think it has anything to do with what's going on?
It may, but it's hard to tell. I haven't sensed any magic in the castle, but I couldn't find a trace of the stranger either, even after he was right next to us.
We'll stop this. We will. I must tell you something, but don't talk about this with anyone.
You have my word.
As I was coming into the castle before Valenice's episode, something very strange happened. It was as if the whole world around me changed. I've never experienced something like that before.
What did you see?
I saw Alexander in a land like this, yet completely different. It was almost like a nightmare. Alexander was standing there talking to Manana.
The wizard who kidnapped him? But how did you know it was him?
Eller called him by name. He was very distraught, to say the least.
This is very interesting indeed. It sounds similar to what I was telling you the other day, about how the Silver Cloak's magic was said to be able to turn dreams into reality, pull living people into the dream world.
Do you think that's what's happened? But if so, what would that mean?
I'm not certain, sire.
Manannan told Alexander that he said that the place where we were was Alexander's creation, that he and my daughter had a power.
Sire, do you think you or your wolf could be the Silver Cloaks?
That's ridiculous. Neither of us has shown any kind of magical ability.
It doesn't mean that there isn't a connection.
This is absurd.
I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you, sire.
It's all right. I met another cloaked man, very different from the one at the wedding. He spoke of the Silver Cloaks.
What did he say?
To be honest, it didn't make much sense. He said that there were 12 in the order, and that they made a sacrifice 1,000 years ago in order to trap my children.
So he is the leader of the Black Cloaks.
But why is he after my family?
Your guess is as good as mine, Your Majesty.
I know my quest.
Good luck, sire. I will continue researching.
getting into the wedding. And what they did to the king and his sister.
Some vases have been left outside of the pawn shop, although Graham can't quite fathom why they are here or what their purpose is. Maybe the shop's owner is just trying to get rid of them. Graham peeks into one of the vases and finds nothing. Graham peeks into one of the vases and finds nothing.
Ready to sail?